Hi friends, I'm Nick Coman, and we've created an innovative new class for using ice dyeing. In this Dragonfly Creative class, fellow fiber artist Chase Wong and myself teach you different techniques to achieve stunning results with soy wax batik. This class involves various techniques applying wax to fabric. Combine that with ice dyeing, which gives vivid, complex results, and you have a perfect surface design technique. Soy wax is easy to use, eco-friendly, and the best part is it washes out with hot water and soap. So if you're ready to learn and get creative, I look forward to seeing you in class soon. Hi, I'm Nick Coman with Dragonfly Creative, and welcome to Soy Wax Batik. Today we're going to be going over how to use soy wax as a batik element, and the reason we're using soy wax is because soy wax is sustainable, and it's water soluble, and it's really easy to get out of the fabric once you put it in there. First, I'd like to introduce my co-host, Mr. Chase Wong.
Hello.
Chase and I worked together many years, and we did a lot of dyeing together. So we're going to be teaching this class together today. Let's get started. The first thing we need to do is talk about what fabric we're going to use, what we need to do to the fabric, and then some of our other materials. The first thing we talk about is fabric. We're going to be using a cellulose-based fabric, which is going to be either cotton, linen, rayon, hemp, any sort of cellulose-based fiber, as opposed to protein, which would be like silks or wools. We want to use the cotton, linen, hemp, the cellulose-based fibers. Then we need to go ahead and soak that fabric in a solution of soda ash, and that's about a half a cup per gallon. And soda ash is a sort of a mordant. It makes the dye stick to the fabric. But we soak that first, and then we let that dry, and then we give that a light press. We've divided our fabric into fat quarters, just makes it easier to deal with. And then some of the other things we're going to need is soy wax. Now, you're going to need pure soy wax. Make sure that it's not mixed with any other kind of wax, like paraffin or beeswax. It needs to be just plain soy wax. There are a number of places online you can get this, and sometimes local, depending on where you are. Soy wax is really easy to get. It's used a lot in candle making, so shouldn't be too hard to locate. So if you don't want to go to all the trouble of finding soy wax, you can also look on our website, and we have a kit available with soy wax, dye, fabric, everything you're going to need to do this. So some of the other things that you're going to need are a few tools to put the soy wax onto the fabric. We have things like a chip brush from Home Depot. We also use things like the kitchen brush from the 99-cent store, Target, wherever you can find them. These make really, really cool designs. Then we also use things like pool noodles, and we just cut them up with a knife, utility knife. You can use an electric knife, whatever you want to use. And then things as simple as soup cups. When you get your soup from the restaurant, just take it home with you, wash it out, and you're able to use this to make awesome circles. And the last thing you're going to need is a skillet. And the skillet that we have right here is a little 8-inch skillet that I got online, and we are going to go ahead and put the wax in there and heat it up. Now you want the wax to get very, very liquid, but you don't want to heat it until smoke point. Now, luckily, soy wax has an extremely high smoke point, so you don't have to worry so much about setting it on fire, but it just needs to be loose, very liquid, okay? That's going to give you the best results.
Okay, now I have this already here on the table, all the tools. You just need to pick which one you want to start first. So I just start with pool noodle, cut up pool noodle. So dab it slowly on the wax and make sure it's not too thick. So now you just pick a spot where you want to put it. Here, if it's too little, you can add a little more. And this is your part of creativity that you want to do. You place it strategically the way you want it and how you want it. So I'm gonna start. Then don't be afraid to do like the edges, because that makes it more natural. Don't just put it all in the middle within the fabric.
And also make sure that it goes through the fabric. So at some point, before you get too far, you want to look on the back of the fabric, pick up the fabric, and make sure, can you see that? It goes through the fabric and goes to the back. So we know that that's going to print well. If it only prints on the top, then the dye is going to absorb on the back side of it where the wax hasn't gone through. So we need to make sure that that wax goes all the way through the fabric. So Chase is going to continue stamping this piece of fabric with this, and then I'm going to explain what we do afterwards. While he's finishing, we're going to just wait for the wax to harden or dry a little bit. Now, if you want to speed this up a touch, like if you're in Arizona or in a hot day in Colorado like I am, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw this in the fridge. I'm going to put it into a shoebox and throw it into the fridge, and the cold in the fridge is going to solidify that wax and then make it usable quickly. It also allows us to crumple that wax, to crack the wax, to get that real authentic batik look.
Okay, now we're just done with this, the pool noodle. You can see. Oh, let me show the back, would be better. So you got that, you got the idea how this looks like. If you're not happy with this, or you can always add with something else. Perhaps you can use the brush. So just dab it a little bit. So all the empty, the white spot you want to fill up with the wax. This will add a little bit more interest to the white spots that you have there. Okay, that's probably about what I wanted. Okay, let me show you again. Then you have some spots there like streaks. At this point, you can just hang it to dry. Like if you're in a cold area, you can just hang it and then it will cool itself. Otherwise, if it's too hot, you can put it in the fridge, so let it dry. So it takes about a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes at the most.
Now I'm going to show you a slightly different technique. And this one is a little more painterly. What we oftentimes do is we'll take a chip brush from like Home Depot or Lowe's, and then the chip brush, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pair of scissors and cut into it, sort of pretend like you're having your hair thinned, okay? And what you want to do is you want to thin out that brush so it's a very spotty looking, and I'll show you this as soon as I get this done, but it's a very spotty, spiky looking finished product. So see those spiky edges there? Those spiky edges are going to give me a lot of texture with the soy wax, okay? So what I'm gonna do is just dip that in there, make sure and get a good amount of soy wax on there, okay? Sort of wipe it off on the side so you don't, and then I'm just going to go ahead. Now let's take a look and see. So we have this, and what I'm seeing is that this hasn't gone all the way through, okay? So what that's telling me is that my wax is not quite hot enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it up just a touch, between 275 and 300. And then we'll let that heat up just a bit. But the reason we want that, once again, to go all the way through is because when we dye that, we need to have the wax on both sides of the fabric to create a complete resist. And that's the thing also that you need to be cognizant of with these smaller skillets, is they tend to cycle on and off with the heat. And that heat can sometimes get cool. There we go. Now I'm seeing it go all the way through. Just that little bit of a change in the temperature was a major fix on this. Now I like doing it in sort of arcs and circles. You may prefer doing straight lines or diagonals, anything that works for you. I tend to work when I do, when I'm creating quilts or special artwork, I tend to go towards circles and curves. So I just go ahead and that's sort of where I gravitate to when I'm creating prints. Okay, now let's see what that looks like. Oh, that's much better. Okay, that's much better. That will give me a lot of good texture. Now, one of the tricks that Chase and I both like to use with this is we take that brush and we wipe it off a little bit, and then we're gonna just use to create spots, okay? And those spots, splatters if you will, just give one more woo, piece of interest, okay? So I'll hold that up and you can see some of those spots in there. The spots are a little finer right now. You might not be able to pick this on the camera, but when it's actually dyed and rinsed, those spots will come out real strong. It'll be real nice. Okay, so this one is now ready to go in the fridge. And Chase will show you the next design. Thank you for watching this Dragonfly Creative class. If you'd like to see more content like this, head on over to dragonflycreative.art.